Let's get going then. Die25 challenged me to a duel, and I shall fight him with the deck that I have been requested to make by ShadowClaw187. Welcome the Winged Kuriboh OTK. Where I use this deck, Die25 decided to go with an old favorite, being a Yuma-based deck with Utopia, Kaketogage, the Go-Go-Go monsters, etc. And he starts with 3 face downs without protection, without Starlight Road or something like that, so Heavy Storm is able to take care of those, because back row can be quite dangerous for this OTK. Now I put Pot of Duality to see if I can get Transcendent Wings, because that's kind of what I need. You need Transcendent Wings, Winged Kuriboh, and then 2 more cards in your hand, and then the opponent needs monsters on the field that total 8,000 original attack or more. Or they need Nightmare Archfiend tokens, which I can summon with a trap card in my deck that can make sure the opponent has the monsters. I don't really get what I want, but I get Kuriboh though, the original one, and I had Multiply already, so upon him attacking me I shall play Multiply, tribute the face-up Kuriboh, place 5 Kuriboh tokens to stall for a bit. Die25 was really thinking hard about which one to attack, but eventually decides to go with the middle one. Now here I draw into Scapegoat, and I'm thinking I could place it face down. He could have a card that takes out multiple tokens, but I'm like, no, because when I happen to get Transcendent Wings next turn, which I will do to Gold Sarcophagus, I'll need the second card in my hand. Now I already have Swift Scarecrow, and then the next card that I'll be drawing. However, I had the feeling that that might be something useful, and it will be, as you will be able to see. It's going to make sure I get the OTK. Because just Utopia or a victory on the monster he'll summon after that will not be enough to ensure the OTK. It is usually not the case that the opponent has monsters in attack position, in a way that it's 8,000 attack points originally, not original attack points total. So here I draw into Nightmare Archfiend, which is just what I want. Nightmare Archfiend lets you tribute a monster, and I have my tokens, so I can just do that, and summon 3 Nightmare Archfiend tokens to the opponent's field in attack position. And that's 2,000 attack each, so total 6,000 attack already. But when the Nightmare Archfiend tokens are destroyed, for each one destroyed, the opponent takes 800 damage, so that's 800 times 3, 2,400, which just for the tokens already is 8,400 damage if using Winged Kuriboh level 10. So here I use the Nightmare Archfiend trap card, I tribute a token, he summons the 3 monsters, and right after he does, I have a little surprise for him, because I have 2 cards left in my hand. It was good that I didn't play Scapegoat immediately. Nightmare Archfiend to the grave immediately, playing Transcendent Wings, tributing Winged Kuriboh and sending 2 cards from my hand to the graveyard. Special summoning Winged Kuriboh level 10 from my hand or deck. My deck in this case, they're all the way at the bottom. And then during the battle phase, you can activate Winged Kuriboh level 10's effect, tributing it, destroying all face-up attack position monsters the opponent controls, and inflicting damage to the opponent equal to the total, the combined original attack of all of the monsters, which is quite a lot. And then there's the 2,400 points added from Nightmare Archfiend's 13,000 damage. I do believe that's an OTK. I'll see you in a bit in the deck profile. And then here we are taking a look at my Winged Kuriboh OTK deck profile. Now I should note, I believe that this deck has gone through quite a few phases. I've tested many different things, and honestly I still don't believe it is perfect, that there's improvement to be made somewhere, but I'm not really sure where. So in the side deck I have a lot of options that could be considered for this deck. I suggest that would you copy this deck and try it out yourself, to test multiple of the cards that I have in the side deck that I will be discussing in this part of the video, to see which one works best for you. I have 3 Kuribohs. Not only do they work with Flute of Summoning Kuriboh and are they able to help you stall, they also work with Multiply for even better stalling. Now I have one of the original Kuriboh, one of the mini things, I don't remember where this one was released. And then the evil Kuribo, of which like very few exist in the world, very rare. Then I have 3 copies of Winged Kuriboh. I like this artwork a little better than that one, so I decided to go with 2 of these, one of those. Not that it really matters. I have 2 copies of Winged Kuriboh level 10. You might ask why 2, then doesn't that become a dead draw because it's an OTK, then you really need 1. Technically you would be right, yes. You would only need 1, but there are times where 1 Winged Kuriboh level 10 isn't enough. Like you need a second. So that's why I have a second in there. Although the thing is, after you've used Transcendent Wings, you've not only tributed your Winged Kuriboh, making that the effect of the Winged Kuriboh level 10, well, gone. You also discard 2 cards from your hand, so you won't have much left in your hand. So even if you somehow get another Winged Kuriboh and Transcendent Wings, you very likely won't have enough cards left in your hand. So, would I continue testing this deck? But I really wanted to get the deck request out. I've been testing it for a while now. I would suggest cutting it to 1 Winged Kuriboh level 10, because it is very unlikely that you'll ever get the second one out. So yeah, it would be a dead draw, and you'd better be off using a searcher or like something like MST to destroy trap cards that could stop your OTK. I have 1 copy of Marshmallow because it helps with stalling combat sort of battle and deals 1,000 damage. That 1,000 damage could help. Requires you to deal less damage with Winged Kuriboh level 10. Neospacian Grand Mole, for some reason in the last 10-15 duels I've had testing this deck, I've never drawn into this guy, but it can be very annoying for the opponent. You just continually normal summon it, get rid of the opponent's monster, they summon their monster, but you just keep summoning Grand Mole to get rid of it. I have 1 Gorse because it helps with stalling, and it can be a powerful monster, and this deck doesn't have a lot of powerful monsters, so Gorse might work. You have to be careful that would you have it in your hand, that you don't place like Multiply or Flute or Scapegoat face down, or at least if you place Flute face down, then activate it before the damage, so that you'll add like a Kuriboh or Winged Kuriboh to your hand, so that Duel will be clear for Gorse's effect. I have 2 copies of Swift Scarecrow to help stalling. Battle Fader is also considered, however, that one can be stopped by Solemn Warning, not that that's really used that much, but it can. I have 2 copies of Magical Mallet to help with the consistency, because sometimes I like drawn to 2 multiplies, and the Winged Kuriboh level 10, I don't really need them that much, then I'll use Magical Mallet to hopefully draw into something better. 3 copies of the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. You need this OTK in your hand, at least Transcendent Wings and Winged Kuriboh, but if you have Transcendent Wings and the Flute, works fine as all, because the Flute can just search for Winged Kuriboh. It can also special summon Winged Kuriboh to the field during your or opponent's turn for use with Transcendent Wings, up to what you want to do. It can add Kuriboh to your hand so that you can use Kuriboh's effect. It can summon the Kuriboh to the field when you wish to do that, so you can use it with Multiply as well, so you don't have to normal summon Kuriboh to use it with Multiply, because with Special Summon you can place it in defense. 3 copies of Transcendent Wings. I've been asked why I run 3, because you only need 1 for the OTK. Yeah, you only need 1 for the OTK, but I run 3 because you want to have this card. I have 3 Winged Kuribohs, 3 Flutes, to get the OTK as quick as possible. That makes it more consistent. Sure, if I get a second Transcendent Wings, that might be somewhat of a dead draw, but I need 2 cards to discard for Transcendent Wings anyway. So it's not really that much of a dead draw, really. So 3 Transcendent Wings to just get it as fast as possible. 2 Multiply. I originally had 3, but I felt 3 was just too much. I only have 3 Kuriboh anyway. I decided to go with 2 Multiply, less of a dead draw. 2 Pot of Duality. I don't special summon during my turn very often, so Pot of Duality helps with searching. 1 Gold Sarcophagus. I believe I originally had 2, but I changed it to 1 to work with Forbidden Unlimited list, because I believe it's limited Gold Shark. I'm not even certain yet anymore. I'll need to really look into that before I do that Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion video on it in like 1.5 weeks or something. But yeah, 1 Gold Shark to help searching. Detonate, I haven't drawn into that card for quite some time either. Same with Neospacian Grand Mole. But yeah, if you have Kuriboh tokens that are summoned by Multiply, you can destroy them along with all Kuribohs you have, and then destroy cards the opponent controls up to the number of Kuriboh and Kuriboh token 2 destroyed. Now I should note that with Detonate and with Dark Hole, you take out the opponent's monsters. That's really only a thing that you would do if you really aren't drawing well. Because if you have Winged Kuriboh, if you have Transcendent Wings, then you don't want to destroy their monsters because you want them to be there, very strong in attack position, so you can actually do the OTK. Because otherwise, you pretty much have to start over. Unless you have Nightmare Archfiends, then not really. But I'll Darkle's really in there to help stalling if the opponent has a lot of big monsters and you don't have your stuff yet. Same for Detonate, although Detonate is less, what's the word? No, it's more situational in a sense. So I would say Detonate out of the deck probably would I make a new version. Scapegoat to help stalling. Heavy Storm to destroy back row. I don't have any MSD. You could do that as well, but Heavy Storm I have one copy of, so that the opponent's back row is gone. There's not too much back row that can stop this OTK, but because a lot of them, like Bottomless Trample wouldn't work because Winged Kuriboh level 10 is only 300 attack. Torrential would work. Solemn Warning would work, but yeah, Solemn Judgment technically would still work on Transcendent Wings, but certain other cards would not work on either of them, so a good amount of the trap cards. But some of the trap cards, anyway, some of the trap cards can stop the OTK, so Heavy Storm is there to take care of them. Monster Reborn, if you aren't able to do the OTK, you can just summon an opponent's monster from their grave, or Gores or Grand Mole from your grave, if that's helpful for you. Or, which has happened once to me, summon the Winged Kuriboh from the grave, if you've used it before and you already have Transcendent Wings ready to go. Dark Hole, already explained just now. 1 mana Reflect Slam, you could consider taking this out of the deck. It's a good stall card with 3000 defense, but since it's still treated as a trap card, and in the current format, 3 MSD and a heavy, and they're used often, so this card is destroyed often, but in the next formats, the next Forbidden and Limited list, Metal Reflect Slam will probably become more viable, because less traps, so less Heavy Storm and MSD in the other stacks to counter that. And there'll be less ways to defeat Metal Reflect Slam. 3 Reckless Greed. I originally had 2, but combining the Reckless Greeds together, it doesn't add up on the turns. If you use 2, you still only skip 2 draw phases. So 3 Reckless Greeds to draw cards and hopefully combo them up to get more cards and still only skip 2. 3 Nightmare Archfiend. This is like not a necessity for the OTK, because the necessity is only Winged Kuriboh and Transcendent Wings, but this is a very, very help card for the OTK, because Transcendent Wings plus Winged Kuriboh plus this card equals OTK. You don't even need the opponent to summon monsters. Nightmare Archfiend is enough. Nightmare Archfiends and Transcendent Wings and Winged Kuriboh and level 10 are enough to do it. Battle Mania is in there, although you could really take out 1 if not 2. If you don't have Nightmare Archfiends ready. Battle Mania forces the opponent's monsters into attack position, and they have to attack with them. Although they have to attack with them, you don't really use that. You just want them in attack position so that they can be destroyed by Winged Kuriboh level 10. But this is one of the other cards, along with like Detonates and Dark Hole, that I'm thinking next version of this deck will probably not have them. I'll be testing other things. In the extra deck, I have never actually used Xyz monsters. For a good deck, you might as well throw them full of rank 1 Xyz monsters, and maybe a rank 3 if you happen to have Marshmallow and Grand Mole, but I've never Xyz'd with this deck, so I just decided to throw in 2 Shimoji Soldier, 3 Slacker Magician, and 2 Lionheart, because those were the only cards that I really saw myself ever using. Although Lionheart requires 3 monsters, you don't really do that, so Slacker Magician, Shimoji Soldier. But as I said, I've never actually Xyz'd with this deck. You probably won't do that yourself either. Like, if you have Battle Fader, more likely because you actually summon it to the field, unlike the sending to the graveyard of Scarecrow. If you're running Battle Fader, then a little more likely that you'll Xyz into rank 1, but I never did it. Now, cards you could be considering, that some of which I have tested: Destiny Hero Plasma, who works with Scapegoat and Multiply, because you can just tribute the tokens because they're still monsters, and summon it, take control of an opponent's monster, do some fun stuff. Lava Golem to get rid of 2 opponent's monsters that are in your way, and it's a 3000 attack point. I almost said Pokemon. 300 attack points, 3000 attack points monster to work with Winged Kuriboh level 10's effect. BLS, if this deck originally had a few more monsters, a few more lights and darks, so then you could use BLS because it just is a really good card. Spirit Reaper was originally in this deck as well as a stall card and a dark, but the fact that it's destroyed upon targeting made me go for Marshmallow over this card. Arcana Force the Fool is a third, small stall monster, along with a Spirit Reaper and Marshmallow that I considered, but the 1000 damage from Marshmallow just had the advantage, if that's really the right word. It made me decide to go for Marshmallow. You could go with a third Swift Scarecrow if you wish, or Battle Fader. If you have darks, you feel good with that, you can use Allure of Darkness. I don't really have too many darks. I have my 3 Kuribos and my Gores, that's it. Used to have more, as I said, but I wouldn't run Allure of Darkness with only these 4 darks, but if you have more, you could use it. You could definitely consider the Mystic Piper engine also with King Caballo, because all of these guys are level 1, and Swift Scarecrow and Battle Fader are as well. And if you're running the Piper engine, you will probably go with Arcana Force the Fool over Marshmallow, because then you have another level 1 as well. You could definitely consider that. I'd like to see a Winged Kuriboh OTK deck with that engine, because there's a lot of level 1s in this. And speaking of level 1s, you could consider using Effect Veiler. It's still quite a good card. It's not used as often anymore as it used to, but it's still good. DD Crow, I haven't seen this card used in quite a long time, but it is a card to consider. Works with the Piper engine because it's level 1. It's dark, so it could work with Chaos for BLS. I have Mystical Space Typhoons to help Heavy Storm taking a back row. And then one Honest, which in a sense is like Allure of Darkness here. If you have enough lights, use it. I've used it before, I just took it out just before making this video, because not a lot of these cards are gonna be summoned in attack position, and I don't really feel I have enough lights, because I only have Marshmallow and the Winged Kuribohs. So, but Honest is a card you could consider would you feel like running some more lights. That'll be all for the Winged Kuriboh OTK deck duel in deck profile. ShadowClaw187, I hope you enjoy, that you like this deck. And for the next deck request, that's going to be a very special one, and I'm going to leave you guessing as to what it is, although I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to say 2 things about it. One is that it's actually going to be 2 deck requests in one. The next deck request was made by Crazy X Darian. I'm not going to say what the deck request was, but it's some kind of lockdown. And 3 requests after that is Mitar Merrick, who also requested a lockdown deck with a different card. But those 2 cards really work well together to create a lockdown, so I decided to just put the 2 together for one deck. Now, it's a lockdown deck. That's your first hint. The second hint, now I'm not going to actually say it, I'll either put it in an annotation or, no, I'll put it in the description. Because this deck, the next deck request is to use a lot, and I mean a lot, of archetypes in series. Over 10 of them. So you go and for the first time, I'm not going to place in the description exactly what the requests are, because they're 2. I'm combining them. It's a lockdown, but what? How do you create a lockdown with so many different cards? I hope you're interested to see my next deck. See you later.